What's happening, racing fans? Welcome back to the channel, brought to you in association with betting.co.uk. I'm your host, Ginger Joe, and I'm back with my 2023 Cheltenham Festival anti-post picks preview. I'm going to run through the 11 selections that I put up this season through the Countdown to Cheltenham series. And from a value perspective, we're actually looking really good. Definitely heading into the festival with some really strong tickets. I put up 11 bets throughout the series, 9 of which are going to the races suggested. So it's so far so good. Just a small matter now of them actually going out there and getting the job done. Now, just because I put some selections up anti-post, it doesn't actually mean they're going to be my final selections. That episode's actually going to come out this weekend, where I'll take a run through what I think is going to win, my final bets, my best bets, why I think horses are going to win, why I think certain horses aren't going to win, my lays, and I'll really put everything on the line. I don't like to sit on the fence when it comes to my final preview. I'm going to put all of the information and all of the things I've dissected throughout this season on the line to give you my final selections on this Sunday. I've also got some free bets to give away every single day of the Cheltenham Festival, courtesy of betting.co.uk. So please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, because that's all you need to do to be eligible, and you might get a notification with a free bet. I'm really looking forward to getting into that final preview. As I said, I'll really get in there and dissect each of these races, and then I'll also come back and do a preview after the festival just to see how these selections got on, and hopefully by then we'll be rolling in the Benjamins. I'm not going to spend too long on these either, but one by one I'll go through them and see where the value currently stands. Now, we've only got a week to go. I can't wait to get stuck in. I can finally get this hat off and have my Cheltenham chop before the Tuesday gets underway. But we'll go straight on to the selections now, and the first selection was Impervious in the Mare's Chase, so I put up at 14-1, now into 7-4, so she's definitely one that's shortened up considerably, and rightly so. She's definitely one that's going the right way. She's 3 from 3 over fences, and she's an absolute brilliant jumper of a fence as well, which really has been the making of her. She couldn't seem to jump a hurdle for Toffee last year, but she's honestly brilliant over fences, a complete turnaround. I actually put her up last year for the Mare's Novice event. She went off about 3-1 for the 2021 Royal Bond, cruised round that day, but jumped so poorly and ruined her chances 2 out. But her jump in then happened to be similar going to Cheltenham. She finished 6th, made up some real late ground, but she's 3 from 3 over fences and looks twice the size that she was last year as well. She's a very powerful mare, very effective going up in trip as well. 14-1 into 7-4, and definitely goes into the Cheltenham Festival now with a favourites chance. My second selection is Marine Nationale, who I put up at 20-1. Currently now 7-2 for the Supreme. The very first race of the festival, and no question what will be my biggest win, providing he can land the goods. I'm all in on Marine the Machine. I've got him in singles, doubles, trebles, 28-1, 25s, 22s, 20s, all the rest. And I just think he's an absolute tank. He's built perfection. He's got speed, stamina, he's got size, scope, and he's barely come off the bridle in any of his races so far. The only reason he had to come off the bridle was because he bunny hopped the last time out in the Royal Bond, but that form was absolutely brilliant. The same people that are knocking him for beating Irish Pointer by a head are the same people that are tipping up Ashrow Diamond and Champ Kylie as well. So you really need to dissect these races properly before jumping out and just saying, well, he only beat this by a length. Clearly Irish Point wasn't the same horse last time out. However, he still made it some real late ground, so don't be a bog by looking at things just on paper. Really try and dissect these races a little bit more. Now, as mentioned, I will go into more detail about him in the preview, but this is really important. I put up 11 anti-post selections throughout this season, 9 going to the races. The other 2, one of them is Run for Oscar, who I've got for the wrong race. I put him up at 33-1 for the Stayers, but he's now favourite for the Coral Cut, which is just tough luck. But the other one was actually Marine Nationale, and I broke one of my own rules by backing a horse in more than one race. So I did initially put up for the Ballymore at 20-1 until a week or so later it was confirmed that he was going to be taking his chance in the 2-mile route. But I love him that much. I was willing to just take the hit, penalise it as you will. I've taken the Bally tip as a loser in part of these 11 selections in October, but he caught the eye early enough, and I hope that the 7-2 is still really good value. We've got 20-1 for the Supreme, so I'm happy enough that I've got stuck in twice regardless. 20-1 into 7-2, and I really do feel he is the one to beat. He's got that grade 1 form, and nothing in the field actually stands out to me like he does. I really do think we're clutching the straws to try and get him beat this year. I think he's an absolute weapon. He's the bet of the festival for me, and in the final selections I will go into full detail if you want to know why. I really think he's an absolute certainty at this year's festival, and as I said, that will all come out on Sunday. Then we've got Absolute Notions at 40 to 1. He's currently 10 to 1 now for the Albert Bartlett. I'm really surprised that more people hadn't latched onto him after his run last night. It cost a fortune, Absolute Notions, and his run in the Nathaniel Lacey was really, really eye-catching. He was the only horse that closed on Goodland that day, and I'm really happy with the 40 to 1. I think you could even back him in again at 10 to 1. He's 25 to 1 for the Bally, who there was a slight indication that he was going to be going to, but I think he's got a really good chance here. He stayed on really nicely in the Nathaniel Lacey, and that was a really good prep run, I think, coming through to the Albert Bartlett. He'll probably get on really nicely at Cheltenham as well. I see no reason to think that he won't enjoy the track. He cost a pretty penny, and for now, again, we've got a quarter of the odds for what he was initially put up at, and goes to Cheltenham with a pretty good chance. Then we're going to stick with the Rob Core colours. I put up Tia Hoopu at 9 to 1. Currently now just 7 to 2 for the stairs. And it's fair to say things didn't necessarily go his way last year over 2 miles. It looks like he's definitely improved for the season and necessarily for the trip as well. And even though he has won over 2 miles, he definitely got caught out on the back end of the season. But he's only 6 and he looks really straightforward. He came out and won the Hatton's Grace this year, and he comes in here with a really solid chance. 9 to 1 into 7 to 2. Not too many things that are going to go wrong from Tia Hoopu, and I don't think he's necessarily one that needs the deep ground. So anyone that's saying he's a deep ground horse is totally wrong. He's got a real nice straightforward action. He's a straightforward horse, and he's probably one of these ones that I just can't see him being out of the first 3. So the 9 to 1 that we've got currently looks pretty handy for now. Then in the mares novice hurdle, I put up Ashro Diamond at 8 to 1. Currently now all the way into 7 to 2. And I really fancy her to beat Lucia. Really sweet on her chances, especially at this stage in their careers as well. Ashro is definitely ahead of her schedule. I think she's one that does everything really, really nicely. And she has the form in the book too. She was 3rd to Marie Nationale on her second start over hurdle. She was 3rd to Facile Vega. And then she was seriously classy to win at Fairyhouse. Overcome a lot of bad errors in that race. Really gutsy. And I'm just a sucker for these walk in the park mares. I think she's a really, really good horse. 8 to 1 into 7 to 2, and I've got a great chance. I really do think that she's going to be beating Lucia in this race. She's more hardy, and even though I think Lucia is going to be the best horse in the race, 8 to 1 value on Ashro Diamond is definitely the bet for me to take a look at here. Next, I'm going to take a look at Chemical Energy, who I put up at 9 to 1. He's now only 7 to 1 in the National Head Chase, only slightly being clipped, but we are still just about ahead of the market. But I'm not actually quite sure what I think of him at the moment, if the truth be told. He was really good at Cheltenham on his first attempt over 3 miles, but he got stuffed at Naas last time out on the soft ground. And I do think that the good ground is key for him to be totally at his oar here. I don't think the soft ground suits Chemical Energy too much, and I think it's enough of a factor for me to just slightly put him on the back burner. So even though I'm quite happy with the 9 to 1 ticket, I think this rain that's just started to come really isn't going to be in his favour, and I think Gaillard du Mesnil is going to be really hard to beat as the current favourite. Then we got Noble Yates at 10 to 1, 15 to 2 now for the Gold Cup. A very worthy contender, of course, and the faster they go, I think is going to be better for his chances. Similarly to A Plus Tard as well. And even though I think Galopin Deschamps is going to be an absolute beast, he's really hard to oppose at the moment. I really like the way that he's gone about his business. I see nothing wrong with the way that he won in that Irish Gold Cup. But Noble Yates is definitely a worthy contender. He's got a nice turn of foot, so if they go off this fast pace, which they do seem to go in the Gold Cup, just out of excitement, I think he could be one that definitely is staying on really strongly up that hill. He's definitely more effective than a lot of these in this field. 10 to 1 into 15 to 2 is a little bit of value at this stage, but again, I'm just quite happy with the ticket that's sort of reduced in value a little bit. I think I'm going to have another few punts on the day, but I'm not quite sure at what just yet. Maybe Statler actually off the cuff. He's one that I do really think is improving, particularly well suited to Cheltenham as well. Good jumper, not likely to make too many mistakes and could come on nicely. But yeah, Noble Yates 10 to 1 into 15 to 2. Not a bad little ticket going into the festival. Sandor Clegane is my next selection. I put him up at 14 to 1. He is now 10 to 1 for the Bartlett. Again, found some really nice value, but I think he's a little bit tripless. Even though he does stay, he just didn't finish his race out at Leopardstown. I really found that a massive off-put to me. Really put me off. A lot still to fancy about his chances as such, but I don't know how tactically versatile he is. So even though we've got a nice docket at 14 to 1, he's now 10 to 1. I actually think he's got no chance. And again, Absolute Notions finished much stronger than him in the Nathaniel Lacey, and they've only got further to go this time out. So I don't see why Sandor Clegane's going to reverse the form, and I'd be much happier with the Absolute Notions ticket that we've got at 40 to 1. So all of those 8 selections so far have shortened up. Now, I do have one more that still goes to the intended race, and that is Facile Mode at 12 to 1. But this one has now drifted out to 25 to 1 in the market. Still goes, but we have actually only got half the value that he is at the moment. Can't really call it a good bet. The form definitely fell apart last time out, even though he was really impressive on his debut. But he does have a squeak, and at least he does obviously come back here to the race. My 10th selection, Marine National for the Bally, I've explained. That is now just a bad ticket. We've got one for the Supreme. But then also I put a Run for Oscar at 33 to 1 for the Stayers Hurdle with the doubt over Blazing Carl. Blazing Carl looks like he's probably going to turn up now, and Run for Oscar is now favourite for the Coral Cup at 15 to 2. So I will probably have a little squeak in him there with the Charles Burns runners coming over. But I did think he was quite a good bet at the 1 point at 33 to 1. But he's not going there now. So be it. And it's pretty much the only bad bet that we've had in this group. So just to recap for you those selections, we've got Impervious at 14 to 1. She's now 7 to 4. Got Marine National at 20 to 1. He's now 7 to 2. Absolute Notions at 40 to 1, now 10 to 1. Tia Hooper at 9 to 1, now 7 to 2. Astro Diamond at 8 to 1, now 7 to 2. Noble Yates 10 to 1, now 15 to 2. Chemical Energy 9s into 7s. Sandor Clegane 14s into 10s. So they're the good selections. The bad ones are Run for Oscar 33 to 1 for the Stairs, now not going. Marine National for the Bally, not going, but I covered my bets with the Supreme, and we caught it early enough so it didn't affect anything too much. Still been able to get fully stuck in on Marine National. And then we got Facile Mode, 12 to 1 out to 25 for the Champion Bumper, but at least he still goes, and it's a ticket that we can hold on to, at least for now. So they're the recap of the selections that I put up so far. It's not my final selections. As I said, that episode will come out this Sunday. But so far, so good. The best price we've got anti-post is 40 to 1. The mark now, best price is only 10 to 1. So we've got very much improved value there. And the shortest price that we started off at was 8 to 1. But the shortest price we now have is 7 to 4. So far, so good. Got some pretty nice tickets leading into the festival. As I said, don't forget to subscribe to receive those prizes. I'm giving away at least a free bet every single day of the Cheltenham Festival. My final selections are going to come out this Sunday. I'll do a daily preview for each of those. But thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the Countdown to Cheltenham series. Got some really nice tickets to head into the festival with. Bye for now.